Hello everybody and welcome back to Utah Trikes. Today we have a really special build. This build is for a customer named John who has been reaching out to us a couple of times on behalf of his friend Jagger. John and Jagger are both turkey hunters, and Jagger has limited use of his legs. He still finds ways to go out and hunt, but he's looking for a way to make that activity a bit more accessible. So they reached out to us to try and build something for him on our all-new Revolution 4x4 platform. This is going to be a super cool quad build that we've been working on over the last couple of months. Garrett has been following this build since it started, from the paint job all the way to the last custom attachments that we've been adding to it. Today, Garrett will be taking over the video, so stick around for this awesome custom build, and I'll send it off to you, Garrett.
So, John from Northwest Spur Chasers reached out to us through email a couple years ago, but we weren't quite ready at that time or didn't have a quad that would accommodate Jagger's needs. However, we mentioned that we were developing a new 4x4 platform, and he seemed pretty interested at that point. When he reached out again after seeing our 4x4 launched last fall, he introduced us to Jagger, who's Turkey Slayers 406 on Instagram. Jagger was born with spina bifida, which is a spinal condition that affects how he walks, his balance, and his mobility. This has been a challenge for him, as he has limited mobility in his legs. Basically, he's on crutches, and he can't stand for very long, and maneuvering around isn't the easiest, but he can get around with his crutches just fine. However, that hasn't slowed him down at all, and he's been super positive. In some of the videos we saw from John, you can see him traversing a terrain on a turkey hunt with his crutches and gun slung on his back. If you've seen the video, he's crawling and sliding, and practically nothing stops him. This quad should be a great option for Jagger to help him enjoy the hunt much more comfortably, get out, and ride further into the woods without having to stop. If he gets tired, he can just hop on the quad and go. Some of the main things we're doing to customize this quad are adaptability options. He still has enough use of his legs that he can get in and out of a quad, but we know from experience, if you're sitting in it and don't have good use of your lower body, it's hard to stay in the seat. So we're going to install some adjustable side armrests to help stabilize him while he's sitting, as well as a couple of body bands that will wrap around his torso to help him stay securely in the seat. Now, when we asked, Jagger himself also mentioned that he would love a custom paint job. So let's go talk to Chandler, who I think has a pretty good idea on how to get it done. Hey, so I heard we're doing a camo paint job on this quad?
Yeah, we're working on Jagger's quad. So let's take a look at it. So I spoke on the phone with Jagger, kind of got a little history of what he's doing, what he likes, and he told me that he's the turkey slayer, big turkey hunter guy. So we were talking about some of the things that he wanted, and he had mentioned, can you do a camo paint job? And I'm like, I've never done it before, but I'm sure we could figure it out. So what I've come up with is we got his frame. We're building him a 4x4 frame. So we're going to start with this base green that we already have. And then I had the media team cut out some stencils with my masking tape for powder coat. We're going to do a camo blob paint, kind of like the Vietnam classic camo paint job. So we're going to do the base green here, and I'm going to mask off all the important parts that we don't want too many layers of paint. And then we're going to stick these blobs on and then layer them with a couple different colors to give it a pretty cool multicolor camo paint job. I think it's going to turn out really good. I've never done it before. I've done a couple samples, so I think I've got it figured out how it's going to work. So we're just going to go ahead and just try it, see what happens.
Let's get it.
Cool.
First things first, Chandler is masking off any of the major tolerance points on the frame, such as the quick release slot where the bumper fits in, and the areas where we will mount the seat and the rear rack of the quad. Once that was done, we started working on placing our blobs to mask in the second stage of the paint job. That was a lot of stickers.
Yeah.
How do we do this?
We just started pulling blobs off, sticking the blobs on. I don't really know. I didn't have like a plan of how I was going to put them on. I just want to make sure I'd left enough space because we still have a whole nother round of blobs when we do the next color on. So we're just going to see how it turns out. We're not going to pull any of the blobs off until we do our final coat. So once we get the final coat on, we'll start peeling them off. Then we're really going to see how it turned out. It's looking good.
Time to paint.
Yeah.
Now, to start off our second stage of paint, we need to wire the frame back onto the painting rack. And for the second color of this multi-stage paint, we went with our rifle green color. This color is more of a darker green than our base and has a satin finish to it. Once we dust on the paint, it's time to move on to the next step.
Yeah, it looks good. Now we're just gonna do a half bake. We wanna bake it just enough that the color glosses over. We don't wanna do a full bake because we still gotta do another couple coats. And then when we're done, when we do a full bake, it'll seal and bake everything evenly. So next, we just gotta throw it in the oven.
A few moments later.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
there it is. Looks pretty good. All right, now we just gotta wait for it to cool down, then we'll check it out a little closer. Now we got the frames all cooled down. Everything's looking pretty good. So now we're gonna move on to the next step, adding more blobs so we can do the next coat. You can kind of see this is the color we started with, and now we got our second color green on. Kind of give you a little idea of how we're doing it. So let's get to it. Start doing more blobs.
Now that our second stage paint is cooled, we get to place on our final round of blob cutouts, making sure to overlap with our other stickers to really sell that camouflage look. So we spend our time peeling and sticking a bunch more stickers to go all over the frame to make sure that dark green pops through in our pattern. Once we've got all the stickers stuck on, it's time to wheel our frame back over to the paint booth to get our third stage coat done. And for our third stage of paint, we decided on our Revolution Army Green color. This color is one of our most popular colors we do and has a matte texturing to it. This green is a perfect middle ground from our light base coat and dark secondary coat and should really help to sell that army camouflage pattern. And with all the colors done, it's time to get it back to the table and peel off those stickers.
All right, we got the final color coat. Now we can peel all the blobs off and see how we did. We also working on the bumper so you can kind of see the difference in colors. So this is the second color, and then this is the third color. So you kind of get an idea of how the different colors are gonna line up. Now we just gotta do a couple more blobs on the bumper and do the final color on that. And then we can peel all the blobs off and see how the camo turned out. Now we got all the colors done, we're gonna do the clear coat. That'll smooth everything out and give it a nice gloss finish. When we're done with that, we'll take it outside in the sun and show you how it looks.
This gloss clear coat we're applying is awesome. It will dust on white and bake clear, allowing us to see all the colors beneath it. The clear will also help to unify all the paint textures and smooth out the ridges in the paint, but still keep some of the depth.
So we just finished up putting the clear on the camo frame, but we had to bring it outside so you can get the full effect. Check it out. All that time and effort really paid off. I think Jagger's gonna love this frame.
This paint job turned out incredible. The greens all worked out really good together, and the clear really made it look like one solid paint.
Quad guys, gather around. We need some B-roll of you guys saying how awesome I am.
This paint job was so cool that we just had to go around and show it to all the guys in the shop, and they absolutely loved it. This has got to be by far one of the coolest paint jobs that we've done to date. Now that the paint's done, it's time to get the quad all built up and assembled. One thing that comes up a lot from people who visit our showroom is, wow, that's really cool, but isn't this just an electric four-wheeler? And yes, it is an electric four-wheeler to a degree, but you're not sneaking up on any wildlife on a regular gas four-wheeler. These quads are much quieter compared to a four-wheeler or a side-by-side. Giving Jagger that advantage to get a lot closer to what he's hunting for is going to really be helpful. And getting in and out of his quad will be a lot easier for him than trying to straddle a seat on a four-wheeler. Also, with the size of the quad being much narrower than any four-wheeler or UTV, it'll fit on more hiking trails and get into thicker woods than a truck or four-wheeler could. Theoretically, it should also give him a good spot to move around and shoot from without having to dismount. The Revolution 4x4 eQuad FS was designed with people like Jagger in mind. This quad is a rugged, all-electric machine featuring 4 independent hub motors, a unified controller, and reverse capability, giving it strong torque, precise control, and added maneuverability on the trail. With our new motor control system, all 4 motors are unified by one big controller with built-in redundancies. This means that if there are any motor issues on the trail, as long as one motor works, he'll still have power to get back home. But to make sure he has plenty of power so he doesn't run out of juice on the trail, we're including 4 batteries, giving him plenty of range to get around. The 4 batteries that come stock on the Revolution 4x4 ensure extended range for long trips and should get him around 40 miles of range on a full charge, which should be perfect for the hunt. Jagger needed a more accessible seating option, so we went with the optional upright seat. And typically we pair the upright seat with our Revolution foot plates due to the angle of your knees, but where Jagger is taking his quad, he needed more ground clearance, so we went with our Revolution skid plates. The skid plates bring your feet up a lot higher and increases the quad's overall approach angle. The ground clearance and full suspension mean that he can get over rough terrain, moderate-sized rocks, and logs without a problem. The wheels on the 4x4 also come with Tannis tire inserts, which are foam inserts preventing 95% of the most common flats. And if in the event Jagger does get a flat in the rough terrain, the thickness of the foam helps ensure that he can get back even with no air in the tires. The base quad also includes various safety features and comfort additions, such as a fully integrated lighting kit, 4-wheel locking hydraulic brakes, and folding handlebars to make getting in and out easier. The foldability of the handlebars also allows it to fit in mid-sized SUVs and trucks, making it easier to travel with compared to a 4-wheeler or side-by-side. Designed with both independence and performance in mind, this quad with all of its perks and features will hopefully empower Jagger to explore further, hunt more comfortably, and ride with confidence. But this build isn't quite over yet. Let's go talk to Chandler about some of the accessories that we're installing to take this quad to the next level.
Now that the guys got Jagger's quad pretty much finished up, we've got a whole bunch of accessories we're going to add here. So we got a whole cart full of stuff. So first we're going to start, we've got some armrests that will mount to the side of the seat. And we also have a headrest that will go on the back of the seat to support his head and neck. Then we got these cool body bands. They're like a Velcro fabric band that you can wrap around the seat. Our idea is you can use it to wrap around your torso or wrap it around your waist so that it mounts, it helps keep your butt planted in the seat. We've also got a flag mount. Here we're gonna mount somewhere on the back of the rack. And then we got a pair of mirrors we're gonna put in the handlebar. That way you can see behind him. Then we got a set of crutch mounts here. That way he can mount his crutches so they're easy to access on the seat. So he'll always have his crutches when he needs them. We got a rear tow hitch we're gonna put on the back. So if he wants to pull a trailer or just do some other accessories, this will just be a good one-size-fits-all bracket. Then we got an auxiliary tail light we're gonna mount on the headrest bar, so we'll have an extra flashing light a little bit higher up so he's easier to see if he's on the trails. And then we also got some cool rifle mounts we picked up from our local gun store. So we're gonna mount these on the rack so that he can carry whatever gun he needs to go hunting with. So we're gonna start with the mirrors. There's a little bit of assembly needed, but here at Utah Trikes, we've done a couple thousand of these. So these are pretty easy to do. Whip these up real quick. secure that in place. And we'll make sure to leave one of these wrenches in his bag so he can adjust the mirrors as he needs with the mirror. That. Quick and easy, double mirror. Now we're gonna install the armrest. So we just have this fancy double-sided clamp. One's gonna clamp to the seat, and the other one's gonna clamp to the bar. But first we'll have to take it all apart. We just wanna get these started until we get the armrest bar in. Start tightening it down. Make sure we're adjusted. And these are all totally adjustable, so when Jagger gets it, he can decide how high or low he wants it, if he wants to flip it, have it really low, and also the angle and how close it is to him, just by loosening, tightening a couple bolts. Yeah, now we'll do the other side. There we go, armrest installed. Now we're gonna install the rear hitch. Just a couple bolts and it clamps right to the back of the frame. This might be a while. Now we got the hitch on, so he can pull any kind of bike trailer he wants. It's kind of just a universal clamp-on mount, so he can kind of figure out if there's anything he wants to do with it. Just a little accessory we thought we'd throw on for him while we're at it. Now we're gonna add on the rack mount here for the gun. These are pretty simple. They look like they'll just clamp right onto the frame there. They're also pretty cool because they're like a ratcheting thing. So you put your gun in and then you ratchet it in place, locks the gun in place, and then you just push the button and it opens. And it also has this little tab you can pull out and you can turn the angle of the mount. But I think it's gonna work out perfectly if we just do just like that, parallel with the frame. Then he can set his gun in place and lock it in place, and then it's right behind him when he needs it. We got a little rubber pad here that came with the kit. That way it'll protect the frame once we clamp all the parts on. Keep it looking nice. Just got a couple bolts. Now we can put the jaws back in place. Centered, and we'll put that locking clip in. Should hold good. Now we'll do the other side. Just like that. Gun mount, ready to roll. I don't have a gun handy, but this will do the trick. Lock that in. And you see that's in there, it ain't going nowhere. Cinch it down. We're in. Perfect. Now we're gonna install the crutch mount. We're just gonna put one on each side of the seat. But again, we'll let Jagger decide if he wants to reorient them or if he wants both on one side. But for now, we're just gonna put one here on each side. So for this seat, we gotta use a little shimmy because the clamp is a little bigger than the tubing. So we got the shim here. Make it a little easier. Now we're all right. Perfect. Get that secure. And then when he puts his crutches in, you just open this Velcro. And I'll bring my trusty broom. So then you can take your crutches, click them in like that. And then you can put that on like that. And obviously the broom's a lot heavier, but then that way the crutches are right there on the seat. So then he doesn't have to get out. He can just reach behind him, undo the strap, and then he's got his crutches ready if he needs to get off and walk around. So perfect. Now we're gonna put on the headrest. Pretty much the same thing as the handlebars or the armrest. Start with getting this started. I'll slip the headrest in there. And this thing's all adjustable as well, so we'll just put it in a neutral position, and then that way he can adjust the headrest to fit him just right. And now we got the headrest on, we can slap this extra light. Just a little light clamps onto the headrest bar. That way you have a little more light, a little higher up. We got this little wedge mount here that'll just center there. And then we're just gonna figure out best orientation. We're gonna have it angle out a little bit. So then we just clip the light in place, and then it just has a little rubber bungee. You just click that on, and you just wrap it around. Just like that. Now he's got some extra light. Also came with a charger, pretty cool. It's a rechargeable light, so we'll just make sure we put that in the bag with the rest of his stuff. That way he doesn't have to worry about batteries. Just plug it in and you're ready to go. So we got all the accessories on, but we got one more little surprise. We got here just a cool ammo can. We got his Instagram handle here with some turkey claws, but it also comes with a couple extra. There's one more small one in here. So we're gonna go ahead and give that to him. That way he can mount it on the rack if he needs it, or put any gear, bullets, whatever he needs while he's on the trail. Have a couple extra boxes, a little extra storage for him. But from here, I think we need to go out and test ride it, make sure everything's looking good, and then from there we can get ready to ship it.
And after the ride, everything checks out and all the accessories are accounted for. So let's take a look at what makes this quad Jagger's custom 4x4 eQuad. At the foundation of this quad, we still have the four 1750 watt motors integrated into each wheel. These give enough torque to get over any obstacle Jagger could find while out turkey hunting. No matter the time of day, the front and rear integrated lights in the bumpers make sure that Jagger can see wherever he's headed and be seen if he's out on the trails. With Jagger's spina bifida, he needed our upright seat to give him a similar sitting position as a wheelchair. This upright position keeps the rider secure and comfortable. And for even more security, we added the UT Custom armrest to the side of the seat. And so he can get in and out easily, there are two crush mounts attached to the back of the upright seat, so he always has his walking aids at arm's reach. For these rough off-road terrains, Jagger chose the skid plates for increased off-road compatibility and higher ground clearance. The 4x4 does great off-road with the help of our fully adjustable coil shock suspension mounted to each wheel. Jagger's going to be going for long hunting trips with this quad, so we wanted to give him the most storage possible with our double-decker rear rack. And for the best way to transport his gun, we attached a custom-fitted rifle mount to the rear within arm's reach. All of this to say, this is one of the most decked-out 4x4s we have built to date. And here it is. The ultimate turkey-slaying, off-road conquering, silent electric quad. Perfect for traversing the mountain ranges of Wyoming and beyond. Stealthy, strong, and deadly. Every turkey out there better watch out because this quad is on the prowl. Everyone in the shop is thrilled about this project, and a huge thanks to John for reaching out. He's taken the lead in this initiative, and we're glad we could work something out. These situations are exactly why we built the 4x4, to get it into the hands of those who need it most. But as far as paint's concerned,
this is a one-off custom paint job we did for Jagger. He's a super awesome guy, and we wanted to make him a really cool paint job. So you might be wondering if you could have this. No, you may not. This is a one-off. We want it to be special, and we want to make sure that he's the only one that's going to have a quad like this.
Now, we do receive messages weekly about donations or sponsorships for these quads, and we're pretty particular about who or what we sponsored. John has been very persistent in trying to get funding set up for Jagger and has worked with several companies to make this happen. We're just happy they want to get Jagger out there and riding, and we're excited to see how this will help him. Working with people like Jagger and John makes it all worth it to us. And as of posting this video, Jagger's actually already received his quad and is crushing it on the trails. So much so that John tells us that everyone else is having a hard time keeping up. We hope Jagger gets a ton of use out of this and scores a nice turkey this season. We're going to need pictures of that bounty on his rack.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, comment down below what your favorite part of this build was. Let us know. And with that, remember to relax, spin fast, and ride trikes.